Yes, any fraud is serious.
Thank you. Because it's interesting that you and I agree that it's a serious thing, considering the man sitting next to you, your Attorney General Keith Ellison, just 2 months ago said, quote, "This is a political matter. This is not a serious thing," end quote. Attorney General Ellison, is there an organized crime ring operating in Minnesota? I'll answer for you, sir. Governor Walz believes there is an active crime ring in our state. In October, the governor said, quote, "We've got an organized crime ring in Minnesota. I think it's been going on for years." Moving on, Mr. Ellison, I, along with millions of Americans, have grave concerns over your alleged relationships with Somali fraudsters who have since been charged and convicted of federal crimes. I'm sure you are aware that over 90% of the defendants charged in the Feeding Our Future fraud case are of Somali descent. In fact, you have personal knowledge of these people. There's a 54-minute audio tape of your meeting with these criminals in December of 2021. And during your meeting, they complained to you about increased scrutiny of their nonprofits, and you told them, quote, "Of course I'm here to help," end quote. It's on the internet. Anyone can listen to you say that.
Subscribe, God bless you. Patriots, welcome back to the channel, your frontline defense for truth, liberty, and unapologetic America First values. I'm America Truth Channel, a proud right-wing patriot, constitutional conservative, Second Amendment supporter, and someone who believes in draining the swamp once and for all. Today, we're reacting to pure fire from the House Oversight Committee. Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer goes straight for the throat of radical leftist Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. Emmer tells him to his face that if these quid pro quo allegations are true, he should be disbarred and thrown in jail. This is what real accountability looks like, folks. If you're tired of Soros-backed DAs and AGs playing politics with your safety and your tax dollars, this hearing is going to get your blood boiling in the best way. Let's jump right into the clips, and I'll give you my raw, no-holds-barred patriotic take. Patriots. Representative Tom Emmer lays it out clearly.
Recognizes our Majority Whip, Representative Emmer from Minnesota.
Thank you, Chairman Comer, and actually thank you, Governor Walz and Attorney General Ellison, for appearing before the committee today. Gentlemen, let's see if we can agree on at least one thing today. Today's hearing is titled Oversight of Fraud and Misuse of Federal Funds in Minnesota. Can we agree that this fraud is a serious thing, Governor Walz? Yes or no? Can we agree on that?
Yes, any fraud is serious.
Thank you. Because it's interesting that you and I agree that it's a serious thing, considering the man sitting next to you, your Attorney General Keith Ellison, just 2 months ago said, quote, "This is a political matter. This is not a serious thing," end quote. Attorney General Ellison, is there an organized crime ring operating in Minnesota? I'll answer for you, sir. Governor Walz believes there is an active crime ring in our state. In October, the governor said, quote, "We've got an organized crime ring in Minnesota. I think it's been going on for years." Moving on, Mr. Ellison, I, along with millions of Americans, have grave concerns over your alleged relationships with Somali fraudsters who have since been charged and convicted of federal crimes. I'm sure you are aware that over 90% of the defendants charged in the Feeding Our Future fraud case are of Somali descent. In fact, you have personal knowledge of these people. There's a 54-minute audio tape of your meeting with these criminals in December of 2021. And during your meeting, they complained to you about increased scrutiny of their nonprofits, and you told them, quote, "Of course I'm here to help," end quote. It's on the internet. Anyone can listen to you say that. Since then, you claim you were not aware of their crimes in the $250 million Feeding Our Future scheme, the largest pandemic fraud case in the nation. But just weeks after your December 2021 meeting, the FBI executed search warrants that you never would have requested in the Feeding Our Future fraud investigation. Now let's fast forward to September of 2022, 10 months after you met with the Somali fraudsters. Your office issued a press release stating, quote, "Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison and his office have been deeply involved for 2 years in holding Feeding Our Future accountable," end quote. So according to your office, sir, you have been deeply involved in the Feeding Our Future case since September of 2020. That actually sounds like you are saying that at the time of your infamous meeting with the Somali fraudsters, you were already aware of the allegations of fraud. When you had this meeting in December 2021, did you know, sir, about the long-running FBI investigation into Feeding Our Future? Yes or no?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Representative Emmer.
Reclaiming my time. When did you personally become aware of the FBI investigation? That's all I'm asking.
Representative Emmer, as you know, I have addressed this issue many times.
All right. Reclaiming my time. In that same meeting with the fraudsters, Mr. Attorney General, you took aim at the Minnesota Department of Education. You stated that the Minnesota Department of Education had fought the nonprofit in very disgusting ways, in a very racist, xenophobic, and Islamophobic manner. You actually asked for the names of all these folks who are just hung up and offered to call the Minnesota Department of Education to, quote, demand some explanations. We now know that when you made these comments, the Biden DOJ was working with the Minnesota Department of Education and that their work exposed the massive fraud ring. Pretty bad look for you, sir. Either you were oblivious to what was going on under your nose, or worse, you were trying to obstruct the work of the Minnesota Department of Education. So I can see the time is getting short. Mr. Chairman, we are left with two questions. One, what did Governor Walz and Keith Ellison know about the fraud? And two, when did they actually know it? I would suggest that if they do not give direct and truthful answers to both these questions at this hearing, then they both need to be put under oath in a deposition. This is a serious thing, Mr. Attorney General. You are the only one who thinks protecting taxpayer dollars is political. Mr. Ellison, my concern is that you actively obstructed this investigation in exchange for campaign donations, a quid pro quo. If these concerns are proven to be true, you should be disbarred and you should go to jail. I yield back.
Allegations that Keith Ellison and his office may have engaged in a quid pro quo, dropping or softening prosecutions in exchange for campaign donations. Emmer doesn't mince words. He tells Ellison directly that if these claims are proven true, he should be disbarred and he should go to jail. That's right, jail. Not a strongly worded letter. Not a retirement package. Jail time for weaponizing the office of Attorney General for personal and political gain. As a right-wing patriot, this is exactly what we've been warning about for years. Keith Ellison is a radical progressive with ties to far-left causes. This is the same man who is endorsed by groups with questionable records and who has pushed policies that many believe have made Minnesota less safe. When the top law enforcement officer in a state is allegedly trading justice for donations, that's not just corruption. That's the destruction of the rule of law. Emmer keeps the pressure on, asking pointed questions about specific cases and whether any favorable treatment was given in exchange for money. Ellison, of course, tries to deflect and deny, but the allegations are serious enough that they deserve a full investigation, not the usual leftist cover-up. Patriots, this hits close to home for me as a constitutionalist. The Attorney General's office is supposed to represent justice for all citizens, not serve as a political slush fund or protection racket. When you have Soros-funded or radical left prosecutors refusing to enforce the law against rioters, criminals, or their political allies while going full force against conservatives, you get exactly the two-tiered system of justice we've seen under the Biden-Harris regime and in blue states like Minnesota. Remember, this is the same Minnesota where Tim Walz let cities burn during the 2020 BLM riots while calling them mostly peaceful. Now we have their Attorney General Keith Ellison potentially facing accusations of selling influence. This isn't isolated incompetence. This is a pattern of radical leftist governance turning states into playgrounds for criminals and donors. As a right-wing patriot who believes in law and order, fiscal responsibility, and equal justice under the law, I'm disgusted but not surprised. Democrats love big government because it gives them power to reward friends and punish enemies. They talk about democracy, while their top lawmen allegedly play fast and loose with actual justice. Let's zoom out, patriots. This hearing is part of a much larger battle. Across America, we've watched radical district attorneys and attorneys general, many backed by George Soros money, decriminalize theft, refuse to prosecute repeat offenders, and turn our cities into war zones. Minneapolis under Ellison and Walz became a national embarrassment with skyrocketing crime after the George Floyd riots. Businesses left, families fled to safer red states, and taxpayers footed the bill for the chaos. Tom Emmer is doing what every Republican in Congress should be doing, holding these radicals accountable. No more kid gloves. If Ellison traded leniency for campaign cash, that's textbook corruption, and he belongs behind bars. We need aggressive investigations, potential referrals to the DOJ under America First leadership, and real consequences. My strong opinion as a right-wing patriot? This is why we must reject every single aspect of the radical left's agenda. Defund the police movements, soft-on-crime policies, and Soros influence have real victims: your family, your community, your wallet. While Ellison allegedly plays politics, innocent Americans suffer from rising crime, stolen elections through lax enforcement, and taxpayer-funded bail funds that put criminals back on the street the same day. We also can't ignore the connection to the Feeding Our Future scandal we covered recently. Minnesota under Walz and Ellison has become a case study in Democrat failure. Massive fraud, weak law enforcement, and zero accountability. This is what Harris Walz would have brought to the entire country. Thank God the American people chose America First instead. We need sweeping reforms. Term limits for all elected officials and bureaucrats. Full audits of campaign donations and prosecutorial decisions. Defunding radical left nonprofits and activist groups influencing law enforcement. Strong support for our police and sheriffs who actually want to do their jobs. Restoring the death penalty and mandatory minimums for violent repeat offenders. The deep state and their blue state allies hate when we shine a light on this corruption. That's why they call us extremists for wanting basic law and order. But we patriots know the truth. A nation without justice is a nation without freedom. Patriots, what do you think? Should Keith Ellison be investigated and, if guilty, prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law? Should Congress keep hammering these radical AGs in every blue state? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If this video fired you up, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss these raw reactions. Share it with every freedom-loving American in your life. The more we expose this corruption, the stronger our movement becomes. Big thanks to Representative Tom Emmer for standing tall and speaking truth to power. God bless him. God bless our law enforcement who do it right. God bless our military and veterans. And God bless the United States of America.